We're starting Be'ez Hashem Siman and Daled and Vayoel Moshe. And he's starting with the kasha of the chidah here, and he's going to say what the chidah answers, and then what he doesn't like about it. The chidah sham nis kasha. The chidah asks a kasha like this, and the ma'amakim of the chidah is Shem Agdolim Ois Aleph Siman Reish Test, like you said in the previous Siman. He says, Rishonim. He says like this: Rishonim shalu, the earlier people, the Rishonim. I don't know who he means. Like you asked, I don't know who he means, but he says the Rishonim asked, why didn't Mashiach come in the times of the earlier Hasidim?
Who are these?
Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, B'chol Kedoshim Imai. Shahayu Neshamos El Yoinim. We find that they were great, high Neshamos V'haisaho Eish Melahetes Sevivam. When they used to learn Torah, the fire used to come out, and the Gemara in Chagiga, when they learned, when Elisha ben Abuya was a baby, his mother took him into the Beis Medrash, and the fire was coming down at his bris. It says that his mother said, "I want my son to be like these tzaddikim."
Oh yeah.
So I once heard the pshat that the pshat is because she asked that kind of like Shalom Lishma. She saw the Torah. She didn't do it l'shem Torah. She did it because she saw how much kedusha, how much amazing fire they could create by learning, but not l'shem Shemayim. Kitzur, so that's what these Rishonim had, and that's why the Chidah is asking that Mashiach should have come at that time. He says, they were standing around like a wall. The Malachim were standing when they learned. Eliyahu used to come and speak to them, like one man speaks to another. And Hashem would be geyser things, and they would be mevatel them in the time of the Tanoim. So how could Mashiach not have come in their times?
Why is he called Ben Yishai here, not Ben David?
It's just he's using a lashon pasuk in the Torah for Machar Chodesh. Uvatchila tiretz shelo haya efsher bishvil shahaya b'soicho elef shanim. So at first the Chidah answers that it wasn't possible because it says that until 1,000 years the Mashiach can't come. But after that, because of the question that Chidah raised, that he said in 9 Gimel, we find that there was a possibility of tshuva in the first 1,000 years. So the Chidah comes out and says a different teretz. He says a chiluk. Really, within 1,000 years, it would have helped tshuva. That in the first 1,000 years, it would only be enough if the whole Jewish people did tshuva. It wasn't enough just to have a few holy individuals. And he quotes the Zohar Chadash that we're going to look at inside in a second. The Taivin bischusa iskanish. Even one shul full of tzaddikim, if they do tshuva, in their schus, the galus will be ended. The yidden will be gathered in. After the Chidah says that after the hada knishta chada, this thing about one shul doing tshuva, loy havi sagi b'soicho elef shanim. That wouldn't have been enough in the first 1,000 years. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's shvuah was that they sheyiyu begalus, that they should be in galus ad sheyashuvu kulam rubam. All of them, or at least most of them, have to do tshuva. But after the 1,000 years is up, mahane had the reishe kanishta, or kanishta chada, that it would be enough if either the heads of the shul, like the tzaddikim of the door, or kanishta chada, or one shul, does tshuva. You in Sham. Okay, so we're going to be ma'ayin Sham. Take a look. First part of the page here that's highlighted. Zohar Chadash, Medrash Nelam. Omer le Rabbi Akiva. Let's really see the beginning here. Rebbe Lezer Omer, let's go back to the beginning of the paragraph. Rebbe Lezer Omer, Kol HaGolius shel Galus HaKnesset Yisrael. Nostam LaHakadosh Baruch Hu Zman v'Kates. That every Galus there was a Zman, that like Galus Bavel, 70 years, and then V'nis Oiru Tamid B'Tshuva. Then the Jews did Tshuva, that when the time came, and they went back. But the Galus Ho'achra, in the last Galus, Ein Loi Kates Zman, it has no time limit. El HaKol Tali B'Tshuva, it's only dependent on the Tshuva. Shenamar V'shavta V'Shem Elokecha V'Shemata B'Koiloi. U'chsiv im yiyad nidachecha b'ktzei Hashamayim Misham yikabetzcha Hashem Elokecha Misham yikachecha. So even if the Jews are in faraway places, one's in the in the K'tzei Shamayim, the edge of heaven, whatever that means. There, even from there, Hashem will gather us in. So, Amalei Rabbi Akiva, Im Kain Ha'ech Yehei Da Li'Yis'oira Kulhain Kechada. How could all the Jews get together and be Mis'oir and do tshuva? Li'Yis'oira Kulhain Kechada b'tshuva. Man dehavi b'syafe shmaya. One person is in the edge of heaven. Uman dehu b'syafe ara. The other one's in the edge of the earth. Hech Yischabrun Kechada. How are they going to get together? So Amar le Rabbi Lezer, Chayecha. Rabbi Lezer, his rabbi said to him, by your life, Di'i yachzerun b'tshuva, reishei kanishta, as long as the heads of the shul do tshuva, or chada kanishta, or one shul, b'schusam iskanish kol galusa, and their schus, the whole galus will be gathered in. Okay? That's the Zohar Chadash. Medrash Ne'elam. Okay, so basically, the Chidah brings that down, and he's saying that it's on the same page, by the way. It's interesting, the Chidah says that on the same page as we have this kasha, V'lo evanti. So the Rebbe asks on the Chidah, the milvad ma sheyesh lefakfek be'ikar achiluk milashon hazohar, that besides the fact that the etzem thing that he says is not so clear that the Zohar means this, because Rabbi Akiva is saying that one kanishta could do tshuva, it's not so clear that Rabbi Akiva is talking about after the 1,000 years. Even the Chidah doesn't really say he's for sure about this. He just says it could be like this. But besides all that, Eino Muvan, we have a big problem here. The Masha Hiksha, that what the Chidah asks, that he asks Akasha, why didn't Mashiach come in the times of the Tanaim? That since it was within 1,000 years, it wasn't enough to have one shul do tshuva. It's gonna have, you're gonna have the same question now.
And even though our time we have a shul majority right. or a good.
All the Rishonim that we know about, the Rambam, maybe not Rashi. Rashi was a shtickle between before the Elef Shanim, but let's say starting with the Rambam, the Ramban, the Ravid, all the Kedoshim, they were all after Elef Shanim. Okay, Shahai Kedoshim Atsumim. They were great Kedoshim. Harbe Mehem Bale Gilui Eliyahu. A lot of them had Gilui Eliyahu. Umadregas Gevois. They had high Madregas. V'chein Acher Kacho Ari HaKadosh. Ubal Shem Tov HaKadosh. V'talmideim HaKadoshim. There were a lot of tzaddikim after that. V'hayu Doris Shahayu Bohem Alafim Urevavos Tzaddikim U'Kedoshim. Some generations had a lot. They had thousands or tens of thousands of tzaddikim. Is it impossible that in all those generations they couldn't have gathered together one shul, the tshuva shlema? Alright? So it didn't answer the question. So now what is pshat in that Zohar Chadash? So he says, Aval nira she'ena kavana she'af im kol ador heima chas v'shalom poishim r'shayim sagi b'knishta chada. The Zohar Chadash doesn't mean that if the whole generation is bad and just one shul is good, that's going to bring Mashiach. No, the sins of the generation are going to stop it. It just means like this. It means that if the rest of the people don't do tshuva on the old things they did, they don't do averis from now on. That's all it means. So they're not going to do any new averis. They're going to keep the Torah. They're just not repenting on what they did before. So for that it's enough that one shul does tshuva on the past. That's what we just looked up inside. Tfus Mun Kach, which is the same tfus I have here. How could they all get together and do tshuva? One's in heaven, one's in earth. How are they going to get together and do tshuva? So Amalei Rabbi Lezer answered, that if one of the heads or the shul, one shul gets together and does tshuva, that's going to be the end of the galus. So you see that the problem that Rabbi Lezer was coming to answer is that it's impossible for them all to get together. Right? So on that he answered, yeah, it's enough one shul. שיפשי יסחברן כולם כחדה בסייפי שמיה עד סייפי ערה למבד תשובה כחדה. והלוי, לפרוש מן האווירוס. If the whole problem is just not doing averos, ulekaimis haTorah kedosha, yuchal kol echad v'yachol la'asos kol kein bim koimai. Anybody could do that wherever he is. Why do you need everyone to get together to do tshuva, that kind of tshuva? V'lama hechreach lazeh sheyischabru kulan kechada umeikar mai kashle. What was Rabbi Akiva's problem? V'al korchach shekavanasei shalasis tshuva kehagen. So obviously what Rabbi Akiva was bothered by was that to do tshuva on the past, you have to have a gathering. You have to get together, everyone has to remind each other what was the averos we did yesterday, how are we going to fix them. So to go and do tshuva on the past, not everybody could tolerate that. Not everybody could figure it out, how to do it. When he's by himself, to be mechaven himself, to think so hard about it. It's only if they all get together. When they all get together, then they'll be able to do it. Okay, but so he's saying basically everyone has to do good from now on. Just one basic knesset has to be shav al avar. Ve'efshar yesh mikan raya l'masha kasav kedusha zikni. Zichron levracha b'yismach Moshe, Parshas Hazinu, shebetshuvas rabim yesh gam l'tshuva meira din tshuva me'ahava. That when the multitude of people do tshuva, even if it's tshuva meira, it has the din of tshuva me'ahava. But if they all gather together and they do tshuva, even if it's meira, it has the din tshuva me'ahava. I don't understand exactly why. So what's the point here? The point is that if it's tshuva me'ahava when they're gathered together, so Rabbi Akiva was asking, how is it possible for all the yidden to be gathered together and do tshuva? So he answered him, yeah, in the Chadam, it doesn't have to be all the yidden. It has to be one kanishta, one shul has to do tshuva me'ahava. But the rest of them, tshuva me'ira is enough. So he's saying it's a slightly different shot in the Zohar. Rabbi Akiva's question, how could they gather together, was only about tshuva on the past, but not on doing good from now on. On that, Rabbi Lezer answers, the sagi b'reish kanishta or b'chada kanishta. It's enough to have one shul. Not from the separation, the refraining from doing averos, fulfilling the mitzvahs. Then, if the generation doesn't do it, that's going to stop the gula from coming. Even one person doing a chet, he could stop the good. That one person sinned, right? One person achan took from the spoils of Yerichai. The Torah says like this. The pasuk in Yeshua says, "Chata Yisrael." The whole Klal Yisrael sinned. Shahaya chet al Klal Yisrael. V'nenshu roiv Sanhedrin, and 36 people died in the war after that. In the Milchemes Ho'ai.
That was Sanhedrin who died.
It wasn't the Sanhedrin, but it was roiv of the number of Sanhedrin. Until they rectified it and they killed off. We can answer other ways. This Zohar. We can speak a lot about this, but not right now. The reasons why things happen when it comes to redemption, sibas kol asibos, the reason for all reasons, and timim shal kol asibos, the reasons behind those reasons, heim dvarim sumim v'chasumim. These are hidden matters. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows all the secrets. So to just go and speculate, okay, maybe it's tshuva me'ahava, maybe it's tshuva me'ira.
Right, nobody can know that.
Maybe everyone has to stop doing averos, but they don't have to do tshuva. All these things are speculation. Really, right. Only Hashem knows.
Who can really tell?
Only He knows it. Let's finish. So this really underscores why we're not allowed to do anything on our own, because we can't know. We can just speculate what causes the gula to come, what doesn't, but we can't really know for sure. So therefore, we're muzar. We're commanded not to make any motion in Yanei Agula, to bring the Gula. We just have to serve Hashem and wait for His Yeshua.